Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. Today we're going to be talking about flashlights, and we'd like to thank Eloise Coleman for liking and sharing the podcast. In 1879, Edison patents the carbon filament electric light. In 1896, the first dry cell battery started using a paste electrolyte instead of a liquid.
Okay.
Because batteries were a real drag when they had liquids inside of them. In 1899 was the first flashlight by this English inventor, David Missel. So he had 3D batteries. He had a paper tube that held them together, connected to an incandescent light. And so this other inventor, a Conrad Hubert, bought the patent to it because he had a company that was selling novelties, like light-up flower pots. And he saw this invention. He thought it was so cool that it eventually became the Ever-Ready Company.
Oh, really?
I was going to start with the types of flashlights and the most popular bulbs like incandescent, halogen, krypton, and xenon, and the differences. And I figured I'd do a search first at Home Depot and Lowe's and filter the results on the type of bulbs in flashlights. So with Home Depot, I did a search. Incandescent, they sell 3 flashlights with incandescent bulbs. Krypton, they sell 3. Xenon, they sell 6. LED flashlights now, Home Depot sells 408. So Lowe's, incandescents 1, UV LED 1, Xenon 4, and LED 117. So LED is what we're going to be talking about today in flashlight bulbs, except for the very inexpensive plastic flashlights.
The ones that are like $2?
Yeah. And even Maglite, who really pushed that Krypton and Xenon bulbs, like when they first came out with those really bright, long-lasting, like the Xenon bulbs, 20,000 hours compared to the incandescents, which were, hours you could count on. LEDs, most of these that I saw on these flashlights are rated for 100,000 hours.
Wow.
So they're saying if you use these 4 hours a night, 5 days a week, it's going to last you 96 years.
Wow. That's good to know.
If you do have an older flashlight, though, with an incandescent bulb, and you're replacing it, you want to make sure that you replace the bulb with the amount of batteries that your flashlight takes and the type, because a 4-cell is going to run at a higher voltage than a 2-cell flashlight, and you're going to burn out the bulb much faster if you replace it with the wrong one. And you can get LED replacement bulbs for C&D battery lights. There's a couple companies that had top-rated replacements. Night Eyes, it's N-I-T-E, capital I-Z-E, and Dorsey, D-O-R-C-Y. They have LED replacements in the shape of a standard incandescent.
Okay.
You should have a couple of types of flashlights around the house, and a basic utility flashlight is nice if you're just running up into the attic once in a while, the crawl space, or if you're turning off the breakers for a project.
This is like the cheap ones?
Yeah, so if you're at your local hardware store, you're still going to find these inexpensive flashlights with the incandescent bulbs. And rather than the $2 or $3 one, I would go a step up. Find something that's marked heavy duty or industrial, and you're going to get this better incandescent light. So it's going to be Krypton or Xenon. And the heavy duty, they're going to have better switches and better light output, and then they're going to last a lot longer. So if you plan on using then another flashlight for your home improvement projects where you're going to be using it a lot for work, I would look for something that's water resistant, shock resistant, and then has the LEDs. A useful style to have around the house in case of a power failure, or if you're working on electrical projects with the power off, is a lantern style.
Well, these are nice because you don't have to hold them.
Right, and what's funny is they still make that plastic floating lantern style, and that comes with that big 6-volt battery.
Right.
And with that, it has that large reflector, so you can either lay it on its base and flood an area, or you can prop it up on end and reflect the light off the ceiling, so it gives you a nice work light. And when you're comparing these, look at the label and look at the lumens, so the amount of light that it puts out, and also the run time, because it varies whether you're using the type of light bulb, so an incandescent compared to an LED. A hand lantern style looks like the old gas lamps for camping, and it's going to give you light in 360 degrees, and you can get a simple on-off, or it can have multiple light output settings.
Okay.
So it's going to extend your battery life because you can reduce the amount of light that it's giving off. And then some of the newer ones are going to have SOS and flashing modes for emergencies.
Cool.
When I was looking at the lanterns, it was pretty interesting, the different light outputs, so the lumens, and how long they run on the batteries. So Rayovac has their fluorescent lantern. It uses 8D batteries, but it gives you a 14-hour runtime, and it has the fluorescent bulbs.
You definitely need to make sure that you have the right batteries.
Yeah, look at your label and have backup. Energizer has an LED lantern. It uses either 3AAs or 3D, which is nice. That has a 29-hour runtime. It produces 160 lumens. There's a company called Ultimate Survival Technologies. Their lantern is an LED 3D batteries. It has 4 different lighting modes plus an SOS mode.
Yeah.
It has 1,000 lumens, which is very bright. 720 hours on the low setting. Amazing, huh? So great for camping.
Yeah.
Whetstone, it's Whetston. They have a crank-powered lantern. And so for 20 minutes of light, you only have to crank it for 1 minute.
Oh.
And then they also have it with solar panels, which is pretty interesting. And then Streamlight has their Siege lantern. This uses 3 AA batteries. It has 3 different settings. So on high, it produces 200 lumens. That'll last 7 hours. On medium, for 100 lumens, 15 hours. And on low, 50 lumens, 37 hours. It has night vision preserving mode and SOS mode. And on SOS mode, it's going to flash SOS for 288 hours.
Wow.
So this is a nice one to take camping. So the lanterns that either say night vision mode or they say that they have a red light, these are designed for camping and preserving your night vision, so if you're hunting. And the theory is the red light doesn't affect your eye's rod cells and it allows you to keep your night vision intact.
Okay.
Because, when your eyes adjust to dark, usually takes about 5 minutes, and by using these lanterns with the red light, it doesn't affect that.
Oh.
So you can read and not bother somebody else. Let's say if you're in a tent, you can check on the kids in their bed, and they say that it won't wake them up like a normal light would. Reading maps in dark lighting. If you pull off the road, let's say we're taking a trip and we're bringing one of these lanterns with us, if you have the night vision mode, it allows you to read your map and then get right back on the road, and it doesn't affect your night vision. And some of the new luxury cars are using red dash lights, so it allows your eyes to go down to the dash and then look right back up at a dark road, and you keep your night vision intact.
Wow, space age.
It's interesting, huh? Another type of flashlight that's handy around the house is the one that comes in many of the cordless power tool sets. So these will set on the base. Many of them have adjustable heads, and if you're keeping your tool batteries charged, you're always ready with a flashlight for emergencies.
Well, because it uses the same battery.
Right. And if you're thinking about purchasing a power tool set or a cordless power tool set, this is really a nice option. Clamping flashlights are another nice style, although it seems like they don't really make too many anymore. So I had an old Stanley clamp light. It uses 4C batteries. It has this huge clamp and a great big head.
Right.
It has like a 30-hour runtime, and I've used it for years and years, and I love it. I don't think they make it anymore, and I found it so handy. They used to have like the snake lights that would wrap around stuff,
Right, yeah.
And I just don't see a lot of these being made anymore. One style I did find, though, and it was rated very high, is the Black Fire clamp light. It takes 3 AA batteries. It's LED, 100 lumens, and this stands on the clamp, so just like a base.
Right.
And then you can use that clamp. You can clip onto shelves and pipes and doors. I just think they're a handy type of flashlight. Rather than having to hold it or try to find somewhere to prop it, this you can clamp and direct the light exactly where you want it.
Right.
Some of the top-rated utility household flashlights, Dorsey Cyberlight, gives off 180 lumens. It uses 3 AA batteries. It's an LED. It has a 5-hour runtime. It shoots a beam of light, they're saying 900 feet, and it passes an 8-foot drop test. And this has a rubber and plastic body. Maglite, so it's Maglite, 170 lumens for their 2D LED flashlight. It has a runtime of about 7 hours. It's water and shock resistant. This also has a 900-foot beam of light, and this will adjust from a spot to a flood. And these use that heavy-duty aluminum bodies. Maglite, they do a nice job with that. And then Coast, COAST, Polysteel 600 was rated very high. It uses 4 AA batteries. It's LED, and it has 3 settings. So on high, it's 579 lumens for 2 hours. Medium, you get 187 lumens for 5 hours. And on the low setting, you get 55 lumens. It lasts 13 hours. This adjusts from flood to spot. It has a stainless steel body covered with a polymer case to make it waterproof.
Nice.
When you're shopping for your flashlights, one category is tactical, and many of these are designed to be used with firearms to light up a target. But there's a whole group of flashlights for home or self-defense, and this is the flashlight you want to keep next to the side of your bed or in your car or next to you in a tent when you're camping. And tactical flashlights were originally designed for military and law enforcement.
Oh, okay.
Two of the key features you're looking for are lumens bright enough to cause temporary blindness, so that's going to give you time to run or attack, and then a striking bezel that's sharp or jagged, and this is what you're going to use to strike your attacker. A couple of the pros are saying the 3/4 to 1 inch diameter is a good size when you're gripping this because it actually aids in a traditional punch.
You sound very excited about this.
Well, it's pretty amazing. A lot of the stories I read where these tactical flashlights either save somebody from an attack, either from people or animals. And these tactical flashlights are heavy duty. They're going to be water and shock resistant. And most of these are going to have multiple light levels. You've got SOS and strobe settings.
Okay.
So, handy if you ever break down on a road or if you're out camping. Some other features to look for are different colored lights or lenses, adjustable from spot to flood, a non-slip grip, and then anti-roll is nice if you're setting it on a surface while you're working. They found that in low light conditions, over 100 lumens is going to cause temporary blindness or disorientation. And even during daylight, if you have one of these tactical flashlights that are over 200 lumens and you shine this in an attacker's eyes, it'll cause temporary disorientation.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, so very interesting. With the colored lenses or lights, the red is going to help preserve your night vision.
Right.
The green gives you good clarity in low light, so humans are sensitive to green, and this is going to help you see the trail if you're walking through the woods in low light. And most animals, they say, aren't frightened by green light, so if you're out camping. And they also say it's good for reading maps. Blue is good for hunting because it helps you follow a blood trail. So the blue will help blood show up on leaves.
Okay.
And then this... this is good for reading maps also. And then amber cuts through smoke.
Okie dokie.
Tactical flashlights with UV option are great for camping because scorpions glow a blue-green color under UV flashlights. So their exoskeleton has this layer that reacts with ultraviolet light. Is that wild?
Yeah, totally.
So if you're going camping, get a tactical flashlight that has UV option. Some top-rated tactical flashlights are Phoenix. It's Fenix 47, so it's the number 4, and then Sevens. Nitecore. It's Nitecore. Surefire, Streamlight, EDC flashlights, CRKT Williams, and Innova. Inova. Another type of tactical flashlight is the flashlight stun gun.
Oh boy, this podcast is definitely taking a turn.
So these aren't allowed in all states, and they look like a tactical flashlight, but it gives off an electric shock. It's temporarily going to incapacitate an attacker. You have to make contact, though, with that front bezel to deliver the shock. But what's interesting is you can press the button for the stun gun part, and it gives off this intimidating, crackling, popping electrical sound, and it's shooting sparks off the end of it. So if your attacker isn't intimidated by that, then it's going to give... So if you're forced to use it, it gives them just a very painful shock that should incapacitate them, give you time to run. Another style of flashlight you'll see are EDC flashlights. So they're everyday carry flashlight. These are small flashlights. They're going to fit in a pocket or purse or a bag. Many of these are going to have clips for your pocket or your belt, or they come with a carrying case. Many of the tactical flashlights are in this group of small flashlights. Under 2 inches are considered micro EDC. Under 3 inches are mini EDC. Under 4 inches are small EDC. And then from 4 to 6 inches, that's considered a medium EDC flashlight. And a couple of these had double clips, so they can either clip onto a belt or your pocket. And then it has a clip facing the opposite direction, so you can slide it under the brim of a baseball cap, and that way you can point light exactly where you need it if you're working on a project.
That's nice.
In the group of small, everyday carry flashlights, you have the keychain flashlights, and so this is going to put light right where you need it, like finding a keyhole or reading something in low light. And they are much brighter and long-lasting because of LEDs now. A top-rated keychain was the Photon Freedom Micro LED. So, I mean, it's like the size of a quarter, and it has adjustable brightness, an SOS mode, strobe. It has momentary on, and it's waterproof, and it gives you a 12-hour runtime with a lifetime guarantee.
Wow, if it only had a stun gun, it'd be perfect.
For pen lights, they're now very durable. They come with options like the different LED colors, light output levels, strobe, and UV settings for scorpions. With the everyday carry flashlights, there's rechargeable styles now. One of the top rated was the Phoenix RC11. It's 4.47 inches long. It gives out 1,000 lumens, which is pretty amazing. It uses a single lithium-ion rechargeable battery. It has 5 light levels, and it uses magnetic charging. So it has a micro USB port that you plug into a source, and then it has that magnetic charging so that you don't get dirt and dust into a traditional port. On some flashlights, you're going to see high CRI for high color rendering index, and this is a scale from 1 to 100. 100 is natural sunlight, and that's the best color rendering. And this is a scale on how accurately that bulb is going to reflect the true color. So a low CRI can actually change the way a color looks.
Which I really didn't believe this until we were doing research for the video on CRI.
Yeah.
And it's shocking
very
how different it can be.
And you'll see this on light bulbs that you get for your house.
Right.
And a higher is better in the house, too. So a fair rating is 50 to 70, better is 70 to 80, and the best color rendering is an index between 80 to 100. For lumens, 10 to 20 lumens is good for a keychain flashlight to find keyholes to light up a close-range object. Around 30 lumens is considered bright enough for a utility flashlight. It's going to allow you to get around in the dark and work in small areas. 100 lumens is bright enough. Let's say your car breaks down, you're walking outside in the dark. Other cars can see you alongside of the road, and this is great for projects around the house. It's going to light up a much bigger area. 300 lumens can be used to light up a small room by shining the light at the ceiling, and this is great for a wide variety of projects inside and out. So if you're looking for a good general use flashlight, probably 30 would be the minimum, up to around 300 for the brightest.
Okay, good.
The most common batteries for flashlights are alkaline and lithium for the disposable batteries, and disposables are also called primary cells. If you see for the rechargeable, NIMH, that stands for nickel metal hydride. The LiION is for lithium ion. And AA batteries make up 50% of all batteries sold in the U.S. For flashlights, you can get models that use a 18650 cell, and this is taller and a little more narrow than a D. You can get Ds, Cs, AA, AAA, 4A, CR123, and CR2. So in 1924, industry and government, they decided to standardize the battery sizes, which is good. And they started with the smallest battery that was made at the time in 1924. So they called that the A size. And then they went to B, C, and D. And then they had a number 6, which was a little bit bigger than D. And then as technology improved and they were able to reduce the size, they had to go to AA, which was a little bit smaller, then a AAA, which is a little bit smaller, and then a 4A, and then they eventually phased out the A and the B here in the U.S., but in Europe...
I've never seen an A battery.
Yeah, and in Europe, they still use, in some areas, they still use the B, but those are being phased out too.
Exciting.
And when you're looking at flashlights, think about how easy it's going to be to find these less popular battery sizes. So if you take your flashlight on a road trip or camping, AA's, you're going to find those at pretty much any retail store. Batteries like the CR123 are going to be a little harder to find in all locations. I would look at the voltage too. You need to know the type of battery. The A's, the C's, and the D's are all 1.5 volts. The CR123 and the CR2, those are a 3-volt battery. And the 18650s, that's a 4-volt. And with these higher volts, you're going to have the higher lumens, the brighter flashlights. These are usually your specialized tactical.
Stun guns?
You want to store your batteries in a cool, dry place, and the primary alkaline and lithium-ion batteries don't get any benefit from being put into the freezer.
Who puts them in the freezer?
That used to be a thing. And freezing can actually cause condensation on the contacts and cause corrosion. Extreme heat can cause leaks in batteries, and some companies are recommending removing the batteries if you don't plan on using the flashlight for a few months. You're going to get the longest life, and it's going to prevent leaks. Some of these flashlights with the advanced features, they're going to draw a small amount of electricity, and that makes these batteries susceptible to leaks. Look at the label. There's some new formulas, like Energizer has alkaline and lithium-ion batteries that have a no-leak guarantee.
Oh, that's nice.
Rayovac recommends not mixing battery types or old batteries with new ones. Different battery types have different performance levels, and it can actually cause overheating and then leaking. Using old and new batteries, so the weaker battery becomes depleted, and then the strong battery can actually force that into a low or negative voltage and cause it to leak.
Bummer.
Weird, huh? The Consumer Product Safety Commission says never mix types or age of batteries, and Energizer says never mix brands or types because of the different chemistry, voltage, and the performance, and they found it can cause leaking and reduced runtime. They also said to clean the contacts of your flashlight, use a clean pencil eraser and then a cloth to wipe off anything from the eraser. And if you get any leakage on your skin, they want you to flush that for at least 15 minutes and then have it looked at by a doctor. Primary disposable alkaline batteries stored in the package should store for 5 to 10 years, and lithium-ion, 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
Alkaline batteries are now allowed to be thrown into household waste in all states except California, where
They weren't before?
No, they changed the law like in 1996. They changed the chemical composition to it. It's illegal to throw any battery in the trash in California. So California and Europe still consider all batteries to be hazardous waste.
Okay.
And you definitely want to recycle any lithium-ion or rechargeable batteries. And to recycle your batteries, you don't want to just throw them into your normal recycling bin. It needs to go, because like lithium-ion batteries, if they get split open, they come in contact with water. They're highly explosive. So you want to go somewhere where they're recycling the batteries. So you can go online to earth911.com, and that's the number 911, or you can go to call2recycle.org, and that's the number 2, so CALL, the number 2, recycle.org, and they'll give you the closest location where you can recycle your batteries.
Oh, that's nice.
And if you're buying rechargeable batteries, look at the charge times on all these kits, because they really vary. I've seen them anywhere from 30 minutes to 13 hours.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yes.
Do you have anything else to add?
I would have a good utility flashlight and a lantern style around the house, good for power outages and your projects.
Well, you should make sure you know where your flashlights are.
Right.
Because, like a couple of weeks ago, the power went out here. It was at night.
Okay.
And I was sitting here thinking, I
got a flashlight.
Well, I have no idea where they are. I don't even know if I have batteries. And
Yeah, have extra batteries.
Well, if the flashlight app on my phone goes out, what am I going to do?
Right. Thinking about that, I have that crank style flashlight in the car.
Right.
And what I didn't realize is the batteries actually have a life to it. So I tried it the other day as we're thinking about the flashlight episode, and it didn't work. So there's a couple types. So you need to look if you have a crank style or a shake type, or some are called a dynamo torch. So the dynamo torch, these were invented, I think, in like World War II, where you squeeze a handle, and as long as you're squeezing it, it produces electricity to keep the light on. So there's no battery backup, but you got to keep squeezing it. But it'll never go bad because there's nothing to go bad. You can also get a shake style that either has a capacitor or a battery. So the capacitors are going to last much longer than a battery like mine that died in the car.
Right.
You really need to look at the label and see the style of these things before you buy it. I would also have a tactical flashlight by the bed or in your car if you go camping, and then think about an everyday carry flashlight depending on your projects. Compare the lumens, the run time, get water and impact resistant, and then think about a stun gun tactical.
Everybody will be thinking about the stun gun. Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, the Spotify mobile app, the Google Play Music app, and iHeartRadio.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our books, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please give us a 5-star rating and review.
If you want to email us, you can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.